It has been a long time coming, but I have rolled credits on Dragon Quest XI-S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, and in today's video, I'm going to tell you all about that experience, so I'm hoping you can join me for this one. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If you like the content you are seeing, please consider hitting the like button, sharing the video, it helps out a lot. And if you want to stick around for some more Dragon Quest content, you're already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. Now I'm going to start off with the question, have you played Dragon Quest XI? Let me know, because I'm going to be tackling this video as a video for both people that have played it, like myself, and for people that haven't played it that might want a bit of a second opinion to make the jump into the game. So I started off the video saying this has been a long time coming, and there's a reason behind that. I have a series on the channel called First Time Dragon Quest where I've been going over all of the Dragon Quest games. I've covered quite a lot of them now. You can check the playlist in the top right corner or in the description down below if you want to catch up to where I'm at right now. But with Dragon Quest XI, I have attempted this game many times, all the way back when it came out on the PS4. This is before the definitive edition. And I thought this might have been my in to the Dragon Quest series, and I put in a good amount of hours. I just didn't stick with it. I just didn't vibe with it at the time, and there were other releases around that window where I was more interested in, so I ended up dropping it. Flash forward to around 2020, 2021. It's come out on the Nintendo Switch with the S version. It's just been re-released on the PS4. I think this might be my time to actually dive in once again, and I put in even more hours, even reaching the end of Act 2, but it still wasn't enough for me because I ended up dropping it and never rolled credits, and that has been eating up at me. Now we are here. I have absolutely thrown myself into the Dragon Quest series and loved everything that I have covered so far, so it was only natural to then have the final opportunity to dive into Dragon Quest XI and get it done. And get it done I indeed did. I streamed this from beginning to the end. There is a playlist of a couple of the VODs of those streams in the top right corner of the video right now, and in the description if you want to check out more of a live experience and thoughts and opinions as they come along. But I did it. I finally dove in, and I'm so glad I did. And we're going to talk about all of the things from the story to exploration, combat, and everything else in between in this one. So be ready. But before we actually dive in, we can all agree that video games are getting very expensive, and I love video games, and what I love even more are cheap video games. This is where instant gaming comes in, because you can get Steam games for up to 90% off by using my link in the description. The upcoming Dragon Quest VII Reimagined Digital Deluxe Edition is currently up for pre-order on Steam at $75. You can pick it up using my link for just $66. Maybe you want to play an older game, a timeless classic like Final Fantasy IX. It is $20.99 on Steam, but on Instant Gaming, you can grab it at just over $9. Or maybe you want to jump on a couple of trends and move away from the RPG space and play a game like Arc Raiders. On Steam, you can pick it up for $40, or if you want to save a little bit of money, you can grab it using my link at just $32. This is just a small example of games you can grab off Instant Gaming, so go have a look, because there is a plethora of games for you to choose from. Not only will you be supporting the channel, but you'll be saving money. Let's dive in to the story of Dragon Quest XI. Now allow me to set the scene for Dragon Quest XI. You play as a young man who learns on his coming of age that he is the Luminary, a legendary hero destined to face a looming darkness threatening the world of Erdrea. Branded by fate and misunderstood by those in power, you are forced to leave your quiet village and set out on a journey across kingdoms, deserts, seas, and ancient ruins. Along the way, you gather a diverse party of companions, each with their own motivations, secrets, and personal struggles, who gradually come to believe in your cause. As the world's history, legends, and political tensions unfold, it becomes clear that the truth behind the Luminary, the nature of good and evil, and the fate of Erdrea are more complex than they first appear. And this is quite a big one. It covers over 3 acts, and it's quite the beastly boy in its content when it comes to its story. It could feel overwhelming, and again, this is my 3rd time, but those say 3rd time's a charm, and it certainly was. And I really don't think it's that big of an issue. I don't think it should be something that scares you off. The great thing about Dragon Quest XI, every time you log into the game and return to play, you get a brief synopsis of what happens, so you can take those breaks without worrying about the vital points in the story that have occurred, which is great. And I want to see more games have this feature, but I absolutely love the twists and turns, the relationship between all of the characters. I absolutely love Sylvando, and I know there's a lot of Sylvando fans out there, so please, this is your time to rejoice. But that you have such a great cast of characters, a really nice story. Yes, it has that Dragon Quest charm with the humor that it comes with, but there are definitely some emotional moments that really get you to take a moment and really just realize what on earth is going on. And I have no complaints about the story. I think it is phenomenal. We're going to dive into gameplay next, and we're going to talk about my favorite exploration in Dragon Quest XI. Man, it takes the Dragon Quest formula to a new level. There's the pots, there's the barrels, there's the hidden chests, there's the NPCs to talk to give you clues on where to find certain things. There's side quests littered about. There is a pseudo world map for you to traverse, whether you are on horseback, whether you are on the ship, even on enemies that you defeat to traverse dungeons a little bit more uniquely, or taking to the skies towards the end of the game. It is quite the trip. The absolute range of locales that you meet in Dragon Quest XI, it feels like an adventure with nooks and crannies at every turning point. And you never know what you're going to find at the bottom of a well. It could be a mini medal to add to the collection to get extra items. It could be someone selling you some items. It could be a vital piece of a side quest that will help you out later in the game. There's just so much here, and it is an absolute joy to experience the world of Dragon Quest XI. From exploration, let's talk about the combat of Dragon Quest XI, and this is traditional turn-based combat, though at first you might be a bit confused because you can move around. This is just a real simple feature. It doesn't add any layer of strategy. I ended up turning it to classic turn-based where you are locked in position with the camera angles, but if you do want to have a pretend action type approach to Dragon Quest XI, you can, but everything that you would expect is here. Strategic party management as you go along, meeting more characters. They bring more to the table. Maybe you've got a healer, maybe you've got someone that specializes in magic. There's a lot to mix and match with and experiment with. There's buffs, the debuffs that really decide the tide of battle. To enter battle, you just walk up to enemies on the field. Whether you walk into them, they walk into you, or if you strike them with the sword to get the advantage. It's quite a seamless transition to and from battle. There is a thing called pep powers, which essentially is, if I was to relate it to Final Fantasy, it's like a limit break system, but not a limit break system. When at certain intervals in battle, you will glow up blue and you can use certain abilities as you go along with the game and develop relationships with characters and tackle the skill panel system that's in the game where you can get various abilities. You'll get more abilities to use via pep, and this can range from completely dismissing an enemy, putting an extreme debuff on an enemy, or turning enemies into metal slimes for you to get that sweet experience. There's many ways, again, to experiment with this, and I mentioned that skill panel system, which is essentially like a skill tree where you will look and see what you want to specialize in. I'll use the main hero as an example. You can use swords, you can use great swords, you can invest in shields. There's so much to play around with. Yes, there's probably an OP build for each character that you might find on the internet, but if you're tackling it completely blind, it's the best way. Experiment, you can respec, but it's all there, and it just takes that Dragon Quest combat to a brand new level. You also have the option to speed up battle as well, which is always nice to have, especially in more modern releases. You've got normal, fast, ultra fast. I think a lot of us are going to be using ultra fast. Simple to use UI, simple to understand. And all in all, I don't think there's many complaints I have with that battle system. Next up, I want to talk about some extras that I've come across in Dragon Quest XI. It is a long game, like I've mentioned, crammed with so much content, side quests that you can start doing straight off the bat, some that will take you a while to solve or to try and find the location. Some of them quite tricky if you are not using a guide. You really need to talk to those NPCs to get a gist on where you need to be going, but the rewards that it reaps, you can't really complain with that. You've got the mini medals here where you are getting even more items to help you along your way. You have the fun-sized forge, which is an incredible crafting system. I think it's much better than Dragon Quest VIII's crafting system, and it's a great way to get new weapons and new armor, and you can reinvest in that as you go along and get more abilities within the forge system to get it to a +3, and then use that to throw into make a more powerful item. It's layered, and as you progress through the game, it opens up. You read many books across the world of Erdrea on bookcases. Some of them might have just nice little stories to tell about it further expanding the lore, or there will be a recipe in there for you to create a brand new item, or you can just get them from rewards in side quests as well. One thing I can really appreciate, and I think it's something you can go in if it's your first time, but the more Dragon Quest games you've played, the more you can appreciate this. And this, of course, is the Tickington side venture of where you enter the 16-bit realm, get to see 16-bit representations of your characters, and revisit worlds of previous Dragon Quest games. Again, this was a treat because before playing Dragon Quest XI, I've played a plethora of Dragon Quest games. So I was revisiting places that I played in those games, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is this place, or oh, that is that character. And it really helped me with the side quests of that part of the game because I had the knowledge. If someone was asking for a certain item, it would ring a bell in my head and I'd be like, hey, I know where I need to go for this. But to get those things, you need to find the toggles across the world that will give you passwords to then unlock more areas of each previous Dragon Quest game. A great piece of side content with so much to do and very rewarding as a returning Dragon Quest player, but shouldn't be something that shouldn't be explored if you haven't played any Dragon Quest games, because Dragon Quest XI does a great job of being a Dragon Quest game for newcomers, but at the same time having so much crammed in there for people that have been with the series since the beginning to really appreciate the love that has gone into it. And before we move on, I've talked about this 2D Tickington side quest. You can play the entire game if you want to in 2D. I've not done that, but if there is anyone out there watching this video that has, let us know your experience. How different is it from the 3D experience, and would you recommend it? But it is there for people that might want that 16-bit style for their Dragon Quest XI experience. All in all, my experience with Dragon Quest XI was a really good one. I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to finally roll the credits and I got to do it live on stream with a bunch of cool people and just enjoy that experience alongside me. Again, if you are someone that's new to Dragon Quest, I think this is a perfect first entry, but of course, the more Dragon Quest games you've got under your belt, the more you can appreciate the little nuances here or there. I've not even touched on the music. The music, of course, there was a bit of back and forth when it first came out with the MIDI soundtrack, but with the definitive edition, the S version that I have played here on the PlayStation 4 through the PS5, the orchestrated soundtrack was an absolute blast to listen to as I was going through my venture of Dragon Quest XI-S. That is everything when it comes to my experience with Dragon Quest XI. I could get this video to go on and on and on, going about all of the details, but I wanted to keep this in a nice, concise experience for you to hear my thoughts and opinions, but I'm more interested to hear yours. Let me know in the comments section down below. At the time of recording this video, the only games that I need to complete in the Dragon Quest series is Dragon Quest VII and Dragon Quest IX. 7 is fast approaching, and then 9, I'm hoping to get that done by the end of the year. If you're watching this in the future, the playlist should hopefully be complete, and I appreciate you joining me for this venture. Again, if you want to follow me for some more Dragon Quest content, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.